I present to you the most deadly and powerful symbiote merge ever in the Marvel Universe. Now, a lot of people are like, why the hell are they venomizing everybody? It's stupid. I couldn't disagree with you more. If you've read King in Black and Absolute Carnage and all this other Donny Cates stuff where symbiotes really retake power of the world under the guidance of Null, the god of the void or the god of the symbiotes, and merge with so many heroes and villains, it is such a cool storyline. And in Avengers 11, the symbiote actually merged with none other than Loki, and it became the most powerful merge of a symbiote in all of Marvel history. Think about it, a god actually merged with the symbiote. Not only is that incredibly powerful, but it's badass. And I gotta be honest with you, I keep getting all these symbiote characters in statue form. Kind of makes me wish I could merge with a symbiote. I mean, I already have a few different voices in my head already. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. We're all about extreme collectibles. I am so ecstatic. I have a custom, a private unlicensed commission statue of venomized Loki. As I said in the intro, this was a brief appearance in a recent, semi-recent, I guess I should say, Marvel comic. And I've been huge into King in Black and Null and all these characters getting venomized, not just because Venom is one of my favorite characters, and not just because I bought all these different statues, everything from venomized Hulk, venomized Deadpool, venomized Mary Jane, venomized Wolverine, and I honestly have more on the way. So I'm having an entire display of these venomized characters. And Loki, who doesn't love Loki? I was always a big fan of Loki growing up, even before he hit the MCU, and I think Tom Hiddleston has done an amazing job representing Loki. Though I don't think he really shows the true evil and power of Loki like we grew up with in the comics, and we still see today. But I think this statue does an amazing job encompassing that evil and that power. So as a disclaimer, this is not a brand new statue. I think it's been out for about a year or so. I did buy it secondhand, and I am so glad I did. But we're still going to do a traditional review on him, covering all the basics, the concept, value, maybe a little different because I bought him secondhand. But let's just start with the concept of the statue. Now, as I said, a lot of people aren't fans of venomizing everything, but there really is, I would say, logical story behind it. But pretty much comics, there's no real logic behind that. But in my opinion, it is logical. So again, the symbiote merged with Loki, so it has all the powers of the symbiote, and even more so when you think about Null, the Hive. Again, go read King in Black, Avengers number 11. But they have a basic base here. Yep, a basic base. It's a rock-like base, and I know this particular custom group has made some other venomized characters that have a very similar base, so I like that they're staying in the same theme with all the line. And Loki is in a museum pose. Not only is he in a museum pose, but he is transforming into a venomized or symbioted, whatever you want to call it, character. You see tendrils everywhere, not only all over him, but his clothing and things he's holding. Some of his body parts have fully transformed, some haven't. You see the Venom symbol on his chest already. All his once ceremonial royal robes are now kind of thrashed, and I love the contrast between evil and even more evil with all this as we move up. A number of different display options, so you can still clearly tell it's Loki, clearly tell that it's a venomized character, and then you get up to this amazing portrait. And while there's different options, they are all evil as hell. And I think that's what really captures this statue and really lays out the concept evil. This statue is so evil. While Venom is an anti-hero in the comics, the symbiote isn't necessarily. And we all know Loki's true nature. So I think this is awesome. While I think museum poses can be a little boring, they spruce this up. It's a 5 out of 5 for me. I absolutely love it. Design, I was really impressed. I saw some things that hadn't been done before. And I love the different display options. You can see up here they actually have portrait options for the head we're going to talk about. But let's quickly do the unboxing and assembly. Everything was one box. Nice change of pace. They had the white foam, not the black foam you usually see with customs, and it was 2 different layers. First layer, a ton of pieces. I did not expect that. And then the second layer. And I did have one minor breakage here. It's a clean break, so I'm not really worried about it, and it's on the back. I'm going to measure him. So the widest part of the base is about 13 inches, maybe a little wider with how his robes flow. Deepest point, 12 and a half or so. The tallest point is probably, it could be his staff, which is just over 24. Or it could be his horns. Oh, it is his horns. They're about 26 inches or so. Now there's some switch out options that may change that. Let's look at that. So first, this staff can be either in the right hand or in the left hand. And there's two different staffs. In lieu of the staff, in the left hand, you can have him reaching out, which I really like. And his right hand can actually be turned over with a tendril coming out. And what I love about this is all the different mix and match options you can do. 3 different portraits. One where you see most of his face, but it's pretty evil and the symbiote's about to take over. This is probably my favorite, which kind of surprises me, because there's a mid-transformation one that also looks very cool. And then a fully transformed one, which is my least favorite, although it's done really well. We'll talk more about that later. And as I said, you have these extra portrait displays. I love it when you have great portraits and they have this option. And then there's even some cool things we'll look at during paint and sculpt. Now, some of the things that weren't done before, the way his robe flows, as you saw in the assembly, it's actually 3 separate pieces. And the way it keys in on the seam lines was really creative in my opinion. Now, there is a small gap you can see right here, but I can definitely get over that, especially since it's in the back. And I'm trying to think where they could improve on design. I'm trying to justify why they can't get a perfect score in design, and I can't think of one at all other than those smaller seam lines, so I think the design's a 5 out of 5. I am impressed for sure. Paint and sculpt, really good job as well. I am equally impressed, and it's probably going to get some high scores. Let's find out. All right, we're going to look at all the portraits last here, but starting at the base, very simple, but it looks good. I really like the granite, and the way they did it reminds me of another piece they've done. I haven't seen in person, but it looks like real street, and I like when they do that. It's a mix of the textures and the sculpt. The symbiote threads going everywhere. They added a nice moist effect to it, gives it almost an alive appearance. So despite how simple the base is, I think the paint and sculpt is really good on it. And you're going to see some of those tendrils all throughout Loki, and they have kind of that glistening effect, but it's not overboard either. So I think that's really smart the way they did it. Regarding Loki, I love his outfit. Every single part of it, from the armor on the boots. I mean, these look like real boots. Look at the leather-like texture that's been added. His pants going up here. And then the green they used on the armor on the front gives you kind of that royal feeling. He always wanted to be the king, be the ruler. Even right here, look at how clean the paint is on this leather and these buckles. It's all sculpted, looks like mixed media. And again, you see the little symbiote coming out. But really the star of the show is this torn up jacket. And they did a really nice job with the transition to a venomized, torn up black paint to what used to probably be very royalistic robes. So part of it is the symbiote coming out, part of it's just very dirty, very dark, and it almost tells that same story. And again, just fantastic, very clean on the paint. Really, really nice. And where the tears are, I like that a lot. Now up here on his shoulders, again, very this gold color really reflects royalty and kingship, and then the tendrils coming out of it. So it's such a cool counteraction of different worlds colliding together, and I think they did a really nice job. Paint and sculpt just complements it so, so well. Look at the texture in his jacket, on his arms, all over, and all that different shading. And everywhere you see the black tendrils, it kind of is the start, and then it kind of falls out from there. So you see black tendrils up here, then they're coming down here, but there's a gap here, but it's coming from here. So it's kind of like taking him over everywhere. So really nice job. The rod is okay. It's not as good as the rest. And I don't know if it's the color they chose. It's kind of hard to focus it on here. But your standard tendrils that you see on most of the pieces. But up top is, again, this is based off the cover, but so weird. But it looks really good. I like the coloring of the teeth they used. It comes from this, let me get it out of some light here. Kind of this dirtied white all the way to this brown, and then the black around the gum lines. The green on the tongue is okay. I would have liked maybe more of a darker green. It doesn't complement well with the other green in my opinion, but it still looks good. And then a little bit of Symbiote on the tip of his staff there. Look at the Venom hands. I think they look great. They did a really nice job with the nails and then the Venom skin as well. So cool. Now the portrait. So the transformation portrait that we have here looks great. I love how the tendrils are wrapping up around the horns. Then he's already turned evil. You can see the left eye has like the bruising around it as Venom's taking over. Same with the lips. I think that's a pretty cool transition. Almost looks like he's wearing makeup, but I think it's good because it's underneath and really, really just evil coming out. Where here is very similar. And again, the horns are a little bit different, but still the tendrils are wrapping all over them. And I like the sadistic smile on both this one and the other one. As evil as they come. And then these base holders too, very cool. So it's some type of like threaded pattern that's completely taken over by the symbiote. And then these spikes coming out almost look like claws or large fingernails. Now, as I said, I'm just not a fan of this portrait, but it's done really well. And they added purple to the venomized, which traditionally you see blue, sometimes some brown in there. But look how great the teeth are done. And I like that they didn't put any tendrils around the helmet on this one. The Loki hair, I think, is what's throwing it off. Even though it looks great, I think they did a really nice job. You can't see the hair on the other ones because he has his helmet on. So I would have liked to see, I guess, a portrait like that with his hair, but really well done. Starting with the paint, 5 out of 5 for me. Like we talked about, it's so clean. I love the variance of colors. The pull could have been a little bit better. While 5 out of 5 doesn't mean perfect, it means exceptional, especially compared to other pieces. Sculpt, I love these portraits. I think they did an amazing job. The armor, his robe, I have to give it a 5 out of 5 as well. Really, really impressed. So, with that being said, usually we talk about, is this worth it or not? Well, I don't know the original price on this. Believe it or not, it's a group that does venomized characters, and I don't buy directly from the group. This is my first piece from the group, and again, I didn't buy it from the group. I bought it from another collector. So I paid $2,000 shipped overseas. I would speculate original retail price was somewhere around $1,200 or so, then probably about $300 or $400 shipping. That's typically the price of things like this. So when they go on the secondhand market, especially for such a rare piece, they only made 45 of these. Now, I'm not going to judge the value because, again, I bought it secondhand. I paid more than retail, I'm assuming. I'm pretty sure I did. But the seller probably broke even, maybe made $100. And again, this is all speculation, so we're not really ranking it. Now, is this a 5 out of 5 statue? It's such a weird character. I don't want to say it is, but I think it is. I love it. This is probably my favorite of my venomized characters so far, and I have 5 or 6 of them and a lot more coming. So 5 out of 5 for me. I have no regrets at all, even paying aftermarket retail. I love this piece. And again, I have a ton more venomized characters coming in. So if you like stuff like this, make sure you not only like this video, but you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. Also, with that being said, if you want to see what he looks like with the rest of the venomized characters, I'm going to put him over there, right after this video. Check out the Extreme Channel's social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. The link for those is in the description below. I post exclusive content on there. Now that I've told you to go do 2 things, I'm going to tell you to do one more thing. Go fuck yourself. But after that, number 4 thing you should do is make a comment below. The reason why I asked you to do comment, it helps the visibility of the channel, and it enters you into a potential statue giveaway. Not this one, but some other statues. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like button, it's easy. Just please do that. It's free. No one knows you did it. It can be a guilty pleasure that you like Mr. X, or maybe you gave it a like for the statue. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.